Hello. Okay. Wow. We're talking today about how to spot a relationship ready man. And I usually don't start off saying I'm Orna Walters, but since I'm sitting here without Mr. Matthew Walters, I thought I would let you know that Matthew is on his prep day for his colonoscopy tomorrow morning. Woo! Exciting stuff. We're grown-ups over here taking care of ourselves. So he's not going to be joining us, but I'm happy to share all about how to spot a relationship ready man. This is an AMA and Ask Me Anything, so feel free to put your questions in the chat box. And let's talk a little bit about what a relationship ready man, how he shows up versus a guy who's not relationship ready. And I think this is something that once you really understand that we're spelling it out for you, that it's really easy to spot the difference between a guy who is looking for a relationship to settle down with somebody and he's curious if you're that person, the right person for him, or a guy who's just sort of, looking for something convenient, easy, and just sort of going with the flow, waiting to see, if maybe he can get some companionship or maybe even some sex. So I'm happy to take your questions, but I just want to let you know that a relationship ready man is on a mission to find the right gal for him. Okay? And this is true even in the person who relates to being the male energy in the relationship. Both men and women have the energetics of masculine energy and a feminine energy. So if you are not in the hetero cis community, not a problem. Just think about the masculine energy versus the feminine energy, since we all have that inside of us. The masculine energy, when they're looking for a relationship, they are on a mission. Pretend you're unemployed and you're looking for a job. That's the kind of mission a relationship ready guy is on. That man is showing up, going on dates, and looking to find his life partner. And that doesn't mean he wants the same things out of life as you do. Just because he's relationship ready won't make him your guy. But if you're looking for a relationship, you at least don't want to be wasting time with the guys that are not looking for a relationship, if that's what you're looking for. And since we are Love on Purpose over here, our mission is to help you not just get another boyfriend or another girlfriend, but we're looking to help you identify and transform your love blocks so that you can share your life with the love of your life. So the relationship ready guy is on this mission. And I just want to say, if you've ever been in a relationship, ladies, where you're asking the guy, where is this going? And usually that happens somewhere between 6 weeks to 6 months into the relationship. And usually that means that you're not sure where it's going because maybe you've been putting in all the effort, meaning you've been in the driver's seat of the relationship while he's been in the shotgun seat, or maybe even in the back seat, taking the back seat, seeing where you drive. So let's look over the relationship ready man, how he's showing up. So I said he's on a mission. And before I do that, because I'm all alone here tonight, I'm really going to need your help. So I hope that you'll type in the chat and just say, we're with you, Orna. Just say I'm with you. Because it's really odd for me to be just monologuing, and I don't want to monologue at you today about a relationship ready man or anything else for that matter. So say hi, let me know where in the world you are. And we are going to talk about the relationship ready man, how he's showing up. But we're also going to talk about whatever you want whatever you want my feedback on. Tina, hey. Hi, Tina. Thanks for joining us. And I know you're in LA, probably down the street. And Susan is joining from Tucson. Hi, Susan. And, you missed where Matthew's out today. He's prepping for his colonoscopy tomorrow morning. So we're being very adulting over here. And instead of canceling, I was like, I'm just going to do it by myself. And then I will have all that fun later in October, next month. But I'm glad he's going first. So, okay, relationship ready guys. They're on a mission to find their life partner. And they will behave like they're on a mission looking for their life partner. And so we want to juxtapose the guy who's on a mission versus the guy who's not on a mission. The guy who's not on a mission, he's going to just, as we always hear, right, see where it goes. And I know we've had a number of male clients, because we don't start with a dating process with any of our clients. We always start in the identifying their specific hidden blocks to love. And so we don't talk about dating until like phase 2 of our coaching programs. And so when we get to phase 2, we may have transformed a lot of those blocks to love, but then when we set people up for dating, we discover the rest of them. And so a lot of the male clients, I would say 98% of the male clients that we have, when they start dating, they automatically click back into their old dating strategies. And even if they really like somebody, and we say, oh, well, if you're not going to be dating other people, you should ask for exclusivity. And what we often hear back is, oh, I'm just going to see where it goes. Say if you've had a guy sort of act that way, he's just sort of waiting to see where it goes, like gravity or the stars or the planets or some outside force is somehow going to make this relationship happen or not. And the thing about a relationship ready guy is he knows he's the guy in the relationship, and he knows it's his job to sort of move that relationship forward and drive it forward. And I think a lot of times that people get stuck is they have an attachment to a person, right? You get attached and you have all these feelings. You're like, oh, I have these feelings. This must be my person. And so you're either taking the lead early on, or 3 to 6 months in, you're trying to flip the script and see if he'll step up to claim you. But that's the second point I want to make about a guy who's ready for a relationship. A guy who's ready for a relationship will want to claim you. He's going to want to take you off the market so that no other guy can take you away from him. He's going to want to claim you and take you off the market. And I think that a lot of times when it's happening too fast, a lot of ladies find that off-putting. And so they immediately think, oh, I'm not ready, I don't know. Unless it's that, what we call instant intimacy. If you've heard us talk about beware of instant intimacy, say I have or no, I haven't, so I know if we need to cover that today. Beware of instant intimacy, because it means something very different than when you think it does. So that relationship ready guy is going to claim you and take you off the market as soon as possible. And so I think where a lot of women abdicate their power is they go with the flow. So if the guy asks for exclusivity, you go ahead and jump in, even if he's asking what feels like too early for you, or it feels off-putting and you deselect him. And so what I want to say, and I know Matthew would agree with me, I'm so used to saying we would say, so I might slip up and say that, even though it's just me, just now I'm speaking for both of us tonight. And I do want to introduce myself, so I think it's a great time for me to say hello, everybody. I'm Orna Walters, and Matthew is fine, but he's out today, and so I'm sailing the ship and flying the plane and all that stuff, and there's a lot for me to pay attention to. If you're catching us on Facebook, give us a like or a share and ask us your questions right there on our Facebook page. Our team will port them over here. Also on our YouTube channel out. And tonight is Love Intervention. I forgot to say that tonight. It's our Love Intervention. Hi, welcome to Love Intervention. I'm Orna Walters, and I'm here to intervene in your love life in a good way to get you on that path to long-lasting, soul-satisfying love. And what makes me an expert, if you're new and haven't been here before, well, let me tell you, my husband and I usually do this together, and between the two of us, we say part of our credentials to be able to serve you in this way, to get you on that path to that long-lasting love, is because between the two of us, don't tell everybody, we've made most of the mistakes you can make. It's true. We've made so many mistakes. We didn't get together until our 40s. We were not high school sweethearts. We didn't meet through college or shortly thereafter. And I was kind of feeling like an old maid by the time he and I connected. But that's why I'm here to serve you, so we can get you out of those mistakes that we and all of our thousands of clients have made. We've been doing this a long time. So the topic of our love intervention tonight is how to spot a relationship-ready man, but you can ask me anything in the chat, and our team will port it over here if you're not on the actual Zoom channel and you're somewhere else out there in Facebook land or on our YouTube channel. And I just want to say that the relationship-ready guy is going to show up. He's going to be on a mission. I know I've said that twice. He's going to step up to claim you. And here's the thing. Don't abdicate your power in the dating process and just think you have to, because you hear a lot of time from a lot of dating coaches, let the guy lead. Who's heard that before? I'm going to wait. Who's heard let the guy lead? Ladies, step up in the chat box, please. Who's heard let the guy lead? And I feel like I should play like some elevator music, like bum, 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 waiting for your answers to come in. Who has heard let the guy lead before? And that's not a new concept. Let the guy lead. Say I have, or nope, I have not. Ooh, yep. Oh, good, and we're getting questions too. That's great. So here's the thing. I think when we say, and when by we, I mean not just Matthew and I, but all the dating experts. So when we say let the guy lead, I think on some level, all you ladies here, oh, well, then I should follow. Survey says no, negative. It does not mean you have to follow. So here's the deal. I think a lot of women abdicate their power in the dating process because they're going along to get along, because you want that guy to like you. But here's the thing. If you're constantly avoiding any kind of disruption, if you're not showing up as your authentic self, number one, it can come across like a bait and switch, which a lot of guys experience, meaning you're showing up one way through the dating process, then you get into commitment, and then suddenly the rules change. And that's awful, right? Bait and switch, you hear that all the time. Like you go and buy a car, they tell you it's this price, but then once you get down to the nitty gritty, it's almost double what the payments they told you, right? So you don't want to bait and switch through the dating process. Instead, when you're showing up authentically, you've got to figure out how the two of you relate to each other on those real issues, because you're going to have challenges that come up just like they do when you're single. So if you're avoiding conflict, you'll never find that soulmate connection with somebody. Because a soulmate connection doesn't mean it's a destined. The soulmate means you choose them and they choose you, and you're meeting at that high vibration of authenticity, showing up as who you really are. And so it's like 2 thumbs up. It's not like this, it's not like this, it's clearly not like that. It's got to be 2 thumbs up. So a relationship ready guy may ask you for exclusivity before you're ready for it, and your job is to slow things down and to a pace that you're comfortable. And that could be with physical intimacy. It could be about sharing specific things about yourself. And we hear all the time all these rules about when it's okay to talk about something, right? Like for sex, for example. When is it okay to have sex? Matthew and I say, well, when 2 consenting adults agree that what it means to have sex for each of them, and they're in agreement to have the sex, that's a good time to have the sex. So it's not about how much time goes by. It's about having a conversation. If sex means exclusivity, then you want to have that conversation that sex means exclusivity, meaning you're not going to do the deed until you have that commitment. And once you've, squeezed the tube, the toothpaste tube, you can't put the toothpaste back in there. So delaying the intimacy, either emotional or physical, is going to give you the opportunity to be in the observer's seat a little bit longer. And that's another good reason. So the reason why I want to make such a big point about you don't have to follow, because then you want to sort of see how the guy responds when you're not in agreement. So if he asks for exclusivity before you're ready and you say, oh, look, I'm really enjoying getting to know you, but I'm not ready for that kind of commitment yet. I don't think we know each other well enough for me to go exclusive, but I still want to keep dating you. Now you get to see how he responds. And that gives you a really good clue about whether he's a relationship ready guy or not. Now, if he's asking for exclusivity, he is a relationship ready guy. So ding, 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 you've already, gone past that juncture. I'm going to look at my notes. I'm not even going to be shy about it. I knew I'd be talking for a while without Matthew here tonight. So let me say again, hi, I'm Orna Walters. This is Love Intervention. I'm looking at my notes about how to spot a relationship ready guy. And I will definitely be getting to your questions. Please put them in the chat, and you can put those out on our Facebook page or our YouTube channel, and our team will port them over here to me. So here's the deal. He's going to want to claim you, take you off the market. And the other reason why we say don't just go along to get along, one of the things you want to do is speak how you feel and make requests. And this is a big one, ladies, because sometimes you think, well, I don't want him to know so much about me, or I'm not sure how much to share. If it comes up in a organic conversation, then you can talk about anything. First date, 5th date, it doesn't really matter. As long as it's not like a job interview, like me, you're not looking at your notes to say, I want to make sure to say this, this, and this. Just so I could best serve you today. I did make notes. Usually Matthew and I don't, but I didn't want to, it's a lot for me to do this all by myself. And if you want to give me some props for being here alone, I'd appreciate it. Okay. So he wants to know how to make you happy. So you've got to tell him how to make you happy. Because the relationship ready guy, if he thinks you might be his woman, when you say jump, in a sense, he's going to say how high. He's going to want to please you. He's going to want to make your life better. He's going to want to show you how he can do things for you so that he can claim you and take you off the market. That's really his goal. He will also include you in his life by connecting you with friends and family. So I know somebody, she just turned 40, and we're friends, and we were talking recently. She'd been dating a guy for some time, like 6-7 months, and I saw her a couple weeks ago, and I said, "Oh, you still dating that guy?" And she's like, "Nope, he had a girlfriend." And I was like, "What?" And, right, not a relationship ready guy. And I kind of knew he wasn't relationship ready. I mean, I didn't know he was committed to somebody else. But there were a few clues that I knew, and I don't coach my friends because they're just my friends. But here's the deal. He basically was calling her last minute for dates and not planning them ahead of time. So a relationship ready guy is going to ask you out in advance. He's going to make plans with you in the future because he wants you in his future. So he's going to ask you to the tickets, about a concert that's a month out or 2 months out, or, he's going to ask you to a show, to an event, to something that means something to him, either something that he wants to impress you with or something maybe that he's doing anyway, and he doesn't just want you to be his plus one. It's not a last minute thing. He's going to want to get appointments with you on your calendar and scoop you up for like a holiday weekend, which we just had here in the U.S., okay? So that's a relationship ready guy. And back to this friend, she said, I kind of should have known better. And she kind of bit her tongue because she was like, she didn't want to say you knew something was up. But she hasn't really ponied up that she's really looking for a relationship. And that's the thing I want you to really realize. Because you can spot a relationship ready guy and a guy who's not relationship ready. But if you're not ready, well, that's a different kind of problem, right? Who agrees with me? If you can spot a relationship ready guy and not a relationship ready guy, but you discover that you're the one, even though there's a part of you that wants it, and maybe there's a part of you that doesn't. Who's that? Who are you tonight joining me? Where on the one hand, you want a relationship, but on the other hand, maybe you're not sure because of X, Y, or Z. And I don't know because. But if that's you, just say, yep, that's me in the chat box. I want to know. Tell me who you are tonight. I think it's really important to know because let's talk about the guy who's not relationship ready. The guy who's not relationship ready, like we said, I'll tell you what we say with our male clients when they say, well, I'm just going to see where it goes. Right? Because they'll say, well, you should be asking a lot of ladies, and they start off doing that. But eventually, very quickly with the guys, they're like, okay, I really like this one, and I don't want to go out with the rest. And Matthew and I, in the coaching session, will say, well, if you're not going to be dating other people, then you should ask for exclusivity. And when they say, well, I just want to see where it goes, we're like, did you notice the name of our business? Oh, I have to point the other way. There we go. The name of our business is Creating Love on Purpose. And we've even had guys crack up laughing when we point out love on purpose is the whole idea over here. And they're like, oh my gosh. We had this one guy say, I am viscerally feeling your your business name in my body right now. Do I really have to ask? And we said, if you're really not going to ask out anybody else and you're exclusively dating somebody, it's silly for you to do that if you're not going to find out if that woman also wants to be exclusive with you. And there's a reason why that we're asking you ladies to lean back and observe rather than be in the driver's seat. There is nothing wrong with you initiating contact in IRL, right, in real life. There's nothing wrong with you initiating contact online. But if you are in the position of driving the relationship, you're going to end up 3 to 6 months in asking, where is this going? And I will say that it's like a huge percentage, something like 98% of women don't want to be the one leading the relationship forward because it doesn't feel fulfilling. Because you're waiting on some level for the guy to claim you. And look, I'm the CEO of our corporate entity. We believe men and women are equal. You can do any job you want. You want to be an astronaut, the president, you want to, be in the military and drive a tank, whatever, I don't care. But there aren't feminine tasks and there aren't masculine tasks, right? Like working on a car is not masculine, and making dinner and cleaning the house is not feminine. That has nothing to do with it. It's energetics. And so when we talk to women who are asking, where's this going? It's because they've been driving the relationship with the guy in the passenger seat. And now they're waiting for the guy to climb into that driver's seat. Well, that's awkward, because while the car is driving down the road, how are you supposed to switch drivers? And then you think, well, okay, wait, we'll just pull the car over and then we'll switch. Well, it doesn't really work that way. Because when a guy is saying, let's see where this is going, he's just looking for companionship and some sex, right? Companionship with the possibility of sex, or maybe companionship and sex. And if you're looking just for sex, I don't know what you're doing here today, because we're talking about how to have a long-lasting, soul-satisfying love relationship. And you're doing that with me today. I'm Orna Walters. Matthew Walters will be back in 2 weeks. We'll be together here we're still together, but Matthew's out today for a medical procedure he's having tomorrow, and he's prepping today. So let me look at some of the questions we have, and I would love to hear your questions. I didn't get anybody that answered that they're on the one hand yes, and on the other hand maybe I'm not sure if I want a relationship. So I'm going to pose that question one more time before I start reading these questions. And usually Matthew and I alternate. So I can take in the question, I'm just going to pause. I wish I did have some elevator music playing. I should have queued something up. So you can pretend it's like ba-da-bum-bum playing in the background. All right. Tina says, I want to ask you, I met a man, and you met a man on a dating site, and you talked to him, but you haven't met him. He said he will come to see me, and he wants me to be his wife. Okay. That's a scammer. Yep, that's a scammer. You can delete him, deselect him, block him, let him go. Yeah, no, don't go. Somebody who's claiming to want to marry you and you've never met yet, that's either a scammer that's like 87% scammer, and the other 13% is not a mature adult. There's nobody who should want to marry you without having met you in person. So I don't know if that's the bad news or the good news. So here's the deal. There are a lot of scammers online, and they're really easy to spot, like so super easy, because they're going to love bomb you. They're going to make it sound like you're the only, they suddenly are all excited about meeting you, but they're somewhere else, and then they'll make up some reason and something, and then they'll ask you for money. And so you can play it out if you don't believe me and you wait until they ask for money, but just don't invest any of your time, because the second they ask for money, then you can block and let it go. Or you could just believe me and let it go. But anybody who is telling you they want to claim you before they've met you, that's not a relationship ready guy. That's somebody looking to scam you for money, and they are not who they say they are, and their picture is the picture of who they really are. Sorry. Yeah. If you've seen him on video chat, I'm just reading this. I'm reading a little bit more about this. He said he'll come to see you in September. Yeah, I'm really suspect about the person. It's not a mature, if you've actually physically seen him on Skype and he's still claiming to be that's not enough. Like, you have to meet in person before somebody starts saying, I want to marry you. It's just not yeah. So probably a scammer or not a mature adult. Either way, not your person. Not a mature adult is not somebody you could share your life with. It's really easy. We've had a lot of clients, all the time when we have people start dating, and once they've gone through the process of like, oh my gosh, you're right, clearly that's a scammer, and they deselect, then you can spot them like forevermore. So I'm sharing it in a really quick soundbite to say, if somebody's trying to claim you without having met you, and especially if it's even on the first, second, third date, that's also called love bombing. So you want to really be careful of that. So they're either not relationship ready and they're trying to claim you because they're immature, or they're a scammer. So it does happen in person. We have a client we just finished actually in our coaching package. And one of the things she was so grateful for at the end of her coaching package was she was completely heartbroken from a guy who claimed her on the first date. And by the third date, I think they were, vowing to love each other forever. And they let their families know that they'd found their person on the third date. And what happened was the moment there was any kind of problem, like that tiniest little bump in the road, poof, he took off and just left, like without a trace. It was like, nope, you're not, this isn't right. And he ran off because he wasn't mature enough, right? So the love bombing that people do in that early part of getting to know somebody, that's somebody who doesn't know what it takes to be with somebody day in and day out in a relationship. So if Matthew were here, my beloved husband, he would say, look, I love my wife, but if I spend as much time with her as I did with the Dalai Lama, there's probably things about the Dalai Lama that would drive me bonkers. And so, yes, love comes with acceptance of who somebody is, all of their wonderful qualities and also their warts and all of the things that make you go, oh, you have to do it that way because they're going to be a different person than you. And I think a lot of the success that we have with our clients comes from the fact that we don't just talk about the dating process and getting to exclusivity. We talk about teaching the skill set for lasting love. And as you learn that skill set with us, you then get to take it into the dating process. So you can deselect those people who are not relationship ready because they're not mature enough. So a relationship ready guy is going to want to claim you. And I know that's why you brought that up. It's on my notes. I'm circling back there. And I want to circle back to say that if somebody is claiming you to be, exclusive or want to marry you or anything like that, and you've not met in person, that's a scammer. If that happens after meeting only 2 or 3 times, that person may want to just go exclusive because they're really interested in you. And so you can slow that down. And I'm not just saying can, I'm going to say should. You should slow that down. You don't know somebody after 2 or 3 dates. You don't even know somebody after 5 or 6 dates. You don't even know somebody after 12 dates. So when you're looking to share your life with somebody, you want to embrace slow love. So when we talk about identifying your hidden patterns, your subconscious patterns, those negative patterns where you're lather, rinsing, and repeating, and you're like start off all excited, and you're like, oh my gosh, this must be my person. You have this instant intimacy, which I am going to circle back to. That instant intimacy is not real. That instant intimacy comes because you've connected with somebody who's familiar. So if you haven't had that long-lasting love before, what's familiar is something else, and it will play out again, and you'll go around in that cycle again, and you'll go around in that cycle again. So you want to do slow love and embrace slow love and slow things down. And if you're interested in the person and they want to claim you early, you just say, oh, you know what? I'm definitely having a good time getting to know you. I said it earlier in the beginning, but I'm going to say it again. And really, it's like a little script, right? It's like, oh, I'm really enjoying getting to know you, but I don't think I'm ready to go exclusive yet. I don't think we know each other well enough. And we've had a lot of our clients end up with very quickly somebody that they started dating during our coaching package. It's like the second or third person they connect with online, and they end up with that person. But they don't end up with that person, 3 to 6 months later. They end up with that person, engaged like a year later, a year and a half later, married 2.5 years later, 3 years later. And the reason for that is because if you're going to share your life with somebody, you have to let some time go by to know that they're the right person. That's why I was saying, don't try to iron out the conflicts. Like, we're all trying to iron out the bumps and the conflicts when we like somebody. And I'm not saying go looking for them. By all means, don't go looking for those conflicts. So it's that it's like a balance beam. It's like a Goldilocks zone. Like, on the one hand, you want to show up and be like, I didn't like that. Sorry. I told lots of guys that on dates as I was learning to be my real authentic self. I used to be a brown-nosed people pleaser, and I was miserable and unhappy. And then when I realized, oh, I have to work on making me happy. Whew, do you know how attractive that is to be like a truly happy person? Like, I think some of you are thinking, how could you not be happy? Like, I know I'm like bubbly and I got my cute little girls. I'm telling you, I was like miserable through most of my 30s, I wasn't a happy person. And then in my late 30s, I realized, oh, so much about taking care of myself and really loving myself. Do you have to love yourself in order to bring in a beloved? To some degree, yes. Can you still be uncomfortable with some of the stuff that's yours that you don't like? Absolutely. Because love does not come with perfection. No human being is perfect, but your beloved will be perfect for you. So I'm waiting for some more questions here. We're about halfway through. We usually do an hour call. I also just want to say that spotting a relationship-ready guy, and I gave you their criteria. But if a guy is trying to claim you before you've met in person, that's a really, and you've never, that's trouble. Especially when they're talking marriage and you've never met, that's a sure sign for a scammer right there. And I almost want to like say, test it out. Like, just don't invest any time if you don't believe me. Like, I would love for you to just let the time go by. And I think if you pull back in your communication, you'll probably find that they'll disappear. Or if you just sort of match their energy, you might find that happens where they, like, oh, I'm coming to see you, but oh my gosh, my computer got stolen. They all have the same tricks. Once you go through it once, you'll be able to spot them in 2 seconds. I don't want to deter any of you from dating online because there are scammers, because you know what? The majority of people online are looking for a great love relationship just like you. They're normal people. They're regular people. I want to teach you how to spot those scammers, so you just deselect and block them, and then just move on. When you're attractive, when you're in a particular age range, you're going to be hit with a lot of those people. And here's the thing, even it doesn't matter your age, or the scammers will come after you anyway, so it doesn't really matter at all. So if your inbox is flooded online, don't feel like you have to communicate with every single person who reaches out to you. I think sometimes that can be overwhelming. And if your inbox isn't flooded, then you probably need some help with your profile. I think it doesn't matter your age, where you live, your religion, your culture, your background. We have gone through people's profiles and gotten them where they're consistently getting a lot of dates. So the reason why you want to date for a bit before you get to that exclusivity is so that you can discover those hidden patterns, right? That's a different topic. We're going to go back to the relationship ready guy, because we're going to talk about the guy who's not relationship ready. So let's talk about the convenient guy. That's the opposite of a relationship ready guy. He calls you up at the last minute. Or like I used to say, I was kind of joking, but not really. When I was single and dating, I had a lot of guys that would just invite me over. And that's not a date, that's a booty call. Took me a while to figure it out. It really did. I thought they just wanted to see me. Everybody's busy. I worked in the entertainment industry. Most of the people I dated worked in the entertainment industry. And you don't leave the office until sometimes 9, 10, 12 o'clock at night. And so just come over just seemed like a thing that made sense when you're busy and invested in your career. And it didn't dawn on me, oh, wait, this isn't really like somebody who's looking to date me. This is a booty call. And it took me a while to figure that out. So a relationship-ready guy is going to ask you out in advance. Who here doesn't believe me because of your age? I just want to tell you, I don't care. You could be 17, you could be 22, you can be 35. I don't care. Here's the deal. A guy who wants a relationship with you will ask you out in advance. Now, he might do it via text, right, if he's on the younger side. That's okay. And a lot of the younger folk don't mind to be asked out on a date via text. If you're cool with it, not a problem. If you're not cool with it, then you have to know how to ask for what you want. So the guy who's not relationship ready is asking you out last minute. Hey, you want to go out tomorrow? You want to go out tonight? Like that. Usually tonight. And you could just be showing up as his plus one. I think one of the most hurtful breakups I've ever been through, it was a guy not too long before I met Matthew, but we were in the same friend group. He was like on the periphery of my friend group, like a friend of a friend, but I knew him, and he had a girlfriend for a long time, and then they broke up and we started dating, and we dated for a while, like 8-9 months or something. And when we split up, I said something about all these things that we had been to together, a lot of trips, a lot of events, and I really was trying to figure things out and where things went wrong. And he said, oh, well, I was going to those things anyway, so I just brought you along, like I was just his plus one. oh, it hurts just to even say it again. I mean, I don't even, he's like happily married, I'm happily married, who cares, right? But it still hurts when I say those words, like, oh, I was going to do those things anyway. I just invited you along. Who thinks that sucks to hear that? Who was like, ouch? Type ouch in the chat box. That sucks. I agree, it does. It was so painful because I was like, oh my gosh. And we were friends, before, and we stayed friends after too. It's fine. But it was one of these things where I thought, wow, that's like so hurtful to tell me you were just going to do those things and you just asked me to come along as your plus one. Who wants to avoid that? Anybody? Here's the thing. You got to lean back. Don't be in the driver's seat. I was talking about how men and women are equal. They're equal in the workplace. They're equal everywhere. They're equal in your home. There's no battle of the sexes, I think, that needs to be going on anywhere. I would love for women to be paid the same as men. I'll be happy when when there's that kind of equality. I believe there should be that kind of equality. When it comes to relationships, you got to think of it this way. Two magnets, when the same side come together, they repel. Two magnets and the opposite come together, they're magnetic. It's energetics, masculine energy and feminine energy. The masculine energy is supposed to lead. That doesn't mean the feminine energy follows. It means the feminine energy responds. So the guy asks you to go exclusive, you respond. Maybe slow things down. Here's the kicker, ladies. You want to know how to speed things up. You can't. I'm going to say it again. I think it's so important. With a relationship-ready guy, you're probably going to have to slow him down. With a guy that you might have a thing for, but he's not stepping up for you, you want to know how to speed him up. Like light a fire under his tush, right? You can't. You cannot. Because you can't make a guy who's not ready for a relationship, you're not going to make him ready. I never had to ask Matthew, where is this going? Ever. Not once. He showed me every step of the way that he wanted to be in a relationship with me. Not just anybody, with me. And it's not like everything went smoothly. We had a lot of bumps along the way, but we figured them out, just like we still do all these years later. We figure it out. We know that we're better together rather than apart. And certainly we have the skills, and those are the skills that we teach. Who wants to know about these skills for lasting love? Anybody? Who wants to know about lasting love skills? I'm going to wait and see if anybody comes in the chat. Me. Awesome. We're going to be going over a lot of this in our Love on Purpose mentoring, and there's still a few spots left. I'm going to put the link in the chat. loveonpurposementoring.com. loveonpurposementoring.com. You can go there today, and you can scoop up. There's a couple spots left. We're starting September 23rd. And yes, if you heard us say an earlier date before, we are pushing it back for a lot of reasons. We're starting 2 weeks later than we initially thought we were going to. So the new start date for Love on Purpose mentoring is September 23rd. It's 2 weeks from it's like 2 weeks away. We're going to start. And I want to do something fun. If you're the first person to register tonight from watching me, you're going to get a complimentary love imprint session. Your love imprint is that linchpin hidden block. So that the whole purpose of Love on Purpose mentoring is to serve you in the love seat. You can go and all the information is there on the page. And there's also an FAQ, a frequently asked questions, so you can see what that's all about. I don't want to go over it here tonight. I'm going to go back to the relationship ready man. But here's the thing. If you want to know about these skills for lasting love, and you want to know about how we teach the dating process, plus identify and start transforming your blocks, those hidden blocks to love, that's where you're going to do it. So it's a group program. It's all virtual. It's audio only. Those are the points I really want to make here. But here's the deal. One lucky person, maybe it's already been scooped up. The first person who registers tonight is going to get a free love imprint session with Matthew and I We'll do that before we start so that for your love seat sessions, we know exactly what it is we're going to be working on. And if you're curious to know about your love imprint, you can just put that in the search on our blog. Your love imprint. You can search in the blog. In our blog. I'm typing to you guys in the chat. So if you're interested in Love on Purpose mentoring with that bonus of a free love imprint session, it's usually $197. Plus there's a ton of bonuses there. So Love on Purpose mentoring, you can scoop that up and get a free love imprint session. If you want to know more about your love imprint, Google it on our blog or search it on our blog. Okay, so we talked about a relationship ready man. How does the guy who's not relationship ready show up? He's going to see how it goes, right? Well, let's see how it goes. He's going to just invite you to things last minute because you're his plus one and he doesn't want to be alone and he's hoping to get some sex and some companionship. This guy may not be interested in satisfying your needs physically, emotionally. He may show up very hot, cold, right? So he comes on strong, maybe you feel like there's a connection when you're together, but then he disappears, you don't hear from him. And like just when you're about to give up, that you're like, I guess he's ghosted me, boop. It's like he checks the line again. Somehow they know. The minute you're like, I'm not going to hear from this guy again, boop, he shows up again. It's like he's got the fishing line, and somehow or other, it's like he's checked to see if the bait is still on, and somehow, there's like that tension on the line, and the second you're like, okay, I'm not going to hear from him, he feels it, and he's like, boop, and he's like hot, and he's cold, and he's hot, and he's cold. But he's not driving the relationship forward. I remember years ago we were talking with a woman. We had just started coaching. It was very early. It was like our second coaching session. And there was a guy she really liked. They met because they were both members at the museum that was in their city. This one particular museum. And that's where they met. And they used to go to a lot of events there. But he never stepped up and started asking her on like proper dates. Well, she knew his membership had expired, and there was a really cool exhibit she thought he'd like. And she said to us on like the second coaching session, so should I call this guy and ask him to the museum? And Matthew and I said something like, why would you do that? And she said, well, I know his membership expired. And we said, yeah, but how long were you guys both members? She's like, oh, a long time. Yeah, we'd see each other and it was nice and I like him. So that's why I wanted to invite him to the museum. And we said, but that guy isn't pursuing you in any way. Like you've let him know the water is warm. And she said, yeah, I have. And we said, well, we don't see any point in you offering to take him to the museum because he had his opportunity. He's not looking to claim you and take you off the market. And she said, oh. So here's the thing about that. If you find that you're pining for the guys who are not stepping up or literally not available, as in with someone else, I'm going to charge myself as guilty because that used to be me. I want to hear in the chat. Say, that's me. That's me. And while I'm waiting for you to type that's me in the chat, if that's you, I'm going to introduce myself because we had a bunch more people jump in and join us. Hi, everybody. I'm Orna Walters. I'm without Matthew Walters this evening. He'll be back in 2 weeks for this next love intervention, but he's prepping for a medical procedure tomorrow and can't join us tonight. And instead of canceling it, I thought, well, I'm capable of doing it. Although, boy, it's a lot of energy to talk as much as two people usually do. And I even made notes so I didn't forget anything, and it wasn't just like, what was I going to say? So this is Love Intervention. I'm here to intervene in your love life in the best way possible. Get you on the track to that long-lasting, soul-satisfying love you desire and deserve. So TM put their hand up. I don't know your name, TM. But here's the deal. If you're jonesing for what you can't have, that is a hidden block to love. There's a reason why. So I don't want to get into it tonight because it's off topic, but I would love to talk to you about this. Send me an email, this person, the initials TM. You're going to send that to support, SUPPORT, because this was my thing. I always thought all the good ones are taken. All the guys that I wanted were taken until I stopped wanting that anymore. I had an internal change that changed that forever. Send me an email to support@loveonpurpose.com, and my team will get you a link to schedule a private call with me. And if you're wondering if Love on Purpose mentoring is, you're not sure, like maybe you looked over that page and you're like, I don't want to rush to that free extra bonus thing, whatever, because I don't know, I'm nervous about a group. I used to be terrified of the group thing because I thought I'm so messed up. I'm not going to be like anybody else in the group. I didn't want to do a group thing. So if the group thing terrifies you and you're like, nope, 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 email me also. I'll send you a link to talk to me privately. Because here's the deal. The group program is so healing. It's so incredibly healing. You not only ride the coattails of everybody else's work, but you really connect with the human experience. Because we're brainwashed from the second we pop out of the womb that you're just supposed to magically, mythically one day meet this right person. And there's so many things that steer us wrong when it comes to choosing a life partner, right? We hear, oh, when you know, you know. But I didn't know so many times. I'd think they were my one, and I'd find out they weren't. And if that's the problem, that's an internal thing. It's like your GPS for love is off. And there's a way to fix that. And I want to talk to you about it. Okay, relationship ready guy. We talked about his qualities, right? Now, he's going to want to claim you, but he's going to want to get to know you first, like as a real human being. He's not just rushing to exclusivity online and you've never met. That's a scammer. We already covered that tonight and going over things we've already covered. He's going to want to take you off the market, but he's going to want to have a few dates with you first, okay? In person, in real life. Video dates don't count. Who's bummed to hear that? Video dates don't count. Who's like, no, really, Orna, come on. Who's like, what do you mean video dates don't count? Video dates don't count. I'm going to tell you really quick why video dates don't count. Your behavior is on autopilot because it's your subconscious mind that drives your behavior, right? Information, what's up here in your big prefrontal cortex, that doesn't drive your behavior. I mean, look at all these people that are smoking cigarettes. They have the information, it's bad for them. They do it anyway, right? Or eating something that you know is not good for you, like donuts or ice cream, right? Donuts and ice cream once in a while, who cares? Donuts and ice cream 3 to 5 times a week, ooh, that's a problem, right? So if you think the difference between information and your behavior is that gap, because your subconscious drives your behavior. Like if you walk into a room of, say, 50 people you've never met before, who's had this experience? You connect with some people and not others. And it's not necessarily romantic, but it's just like, oh, some people are like brighter, right? You catch eyes and you smile and you start talking. And who's had this experience? You walk into a room, 50 people or so, you never met 100 people, and you connect with someone, you start talking, you find you have all this stuff in common. Anybody? Who's had this experience? You have, oh my gosh, out of all the people in the room, oh my God, you went to my high school, or oh my gosh, we both grew up in blah blah, or whatever, or something. We both worked at the la la la, or something. And it's not necessarily romantic, but it just happens. You connect with somebody that you have all this stuff in common with. Because the best computer on earth, haven't made a better one yet, is the space between your ears. It's cycling through millions of bits of information, and in a moment it's deducing that's familiar. That's what pops. So here's the deal. If in your family of origin you weren't loved the way you wanted to be loved, that feeling of not getting the love you want, that's what's highlighted for you out in the world. So when somebody pops for you and you're like, ooh, I think he's cute, I think he's hot, yummy, yummy, yum, 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 yum. Your subconscious has determined this is familiar, meaning that person isn't capable of meeting your needs. They're not going to love you the way you want to be loved. You can fix this. I want to help you fix it. This is our life's work. We teach people to fix this all the time. And we literally give you the tools to fix it. We don't fix it for you. We're not mechanics over here, we're guides. We're guides to love. And I'd love for you guys to really ask some more questions because it's an AMA and I've got 11 more minutes to cover. I'm going to take a deep breath. Hi everybody, I'm Orna Walters. This is Love Intervention. I've never done one of these all by myself. An hour of talking My goodness. All right, we're talking about how to spot a relationship ready guy, and therefore how to spot a guy who's not relationship ready. It's quiet in the chat. Which one of you ladies are always rushing to fill that empty space when you're on a date? I used to be really uncomfortable with those pauses, those uncomfortable pauses. And I would try to fill them, or I tried to make it better when it was uncomfortable. Don't. If you are someone that's constantly being asked out on second and third dates you don't want to go on, don't rescue them. Don't rescue them. They won't ask you out again. What I really want you all to know is that a relationship ready guy is going to want to know about you. He's going to want to know how to make you happy. He's going to want to know your likes and your dislikes. He's going to be okay when you make an adjustment and you're like, oh, I don't really like that kind of music. Sorry. Oh, what kind of music do you like? He's going to want to take you to the concert you've been dying to go to. He's going to want to take you to that play or that club or that place, that special place you always wanted to go to. Maybe Paris. Maybe a hike. He's going to want to pack a picnic with all your favorite things. I want you to understand how the relationship ready guy is going to, he's got feelers out. He's paying attention. He's listening when you talk. And in the beginning, he might talk too much about himself because he's nervous and he likes you. That's just an adjustment. That just takes some time to let somebody chill and relax. Well, if you guys don't have any more questions, I might wrap it up a little early. We'll be back in 2 weeks. September 19th is our next love intervention. If you have an idea for a topic that we haven't covered yet, go ahead and send us an email to support@loveonpurpose.com. I want to let you know we still have a few spots left in our Love on Purpose mentoring class at loveonpurposementoring.com. And you can go there and claim that spot. What I offered, I just wanted to say that again because the first person, and I don't know if somebody registered while we've been on this or not, but the first person to register tonight gets a free love imprint session. Maria, if you joined us late and said, what does a relationship ready gal look like? Oh, that's an interesting question. I could cover that for a couple minutes. Thanks for a great question. And thank you all who are saying thanks for my time. I appreciate that. I want to thank you for your time today. And I also want to thank our team. So before we go, I'm going to say thanks to the team. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, they'll port your questions over here. You can ask them right there in the comments section. What does a relationship ready gal look like? A relationship ready gal knows her value. So she knows that she doesn't have to offer to pay the check because she knows that if the guy asked her out, he's going to pay. She doesn't offer to pay. She will give a genuine thank you. She'll be gracious, but she won't offer to pay. She'll say thank you. Thanks. This is such a lovely place. I've never been here before. I love the food. Thank you. Right? She'll be gracious. She will not rush into exclusivity. She won't just be going along to get along. A relationship ready gal knows her worth, and she knows that she's worth loving, and she knows that she doesn't have to try to earn love, and that love doesn't require sacrifice. And so she's looking for the guy who's going to stick by her because she knows that she's a catch. It used to make me really uncomfortable to say that. Does it make you a little uncomfortable? You're supposed to think of yourself as a catch, like the prize. You're the prize. For decades, like since my 20s, I've asked couples that have been married a long time, what's their secret? I mean, for decades and decades. I've asked, I can't even count how many couples. And just people that I've met. I remember this one couple. I was flying to Arizona to see a girlfriend. We had a trip planned, and I was flying by myself, and I like the window seat, so I'm in the window seat, and this couple comes, older couple, and the woman was in the middle seat, and the guy was on the end, and they were flying to Arizona, from LA to Arizona, to meet one of, like, a great grandchild. It was like number 3 or 4 great grandchild or something. And I said, oh, that's so cool. And how long have you been married? I don't remember the number now. I wish I had taken notes. I didn't know I was going to do this and sharing this all with you. But I said, what's your secret? And they said something that was a little kind of colloquialism that you hear. They say, marry your best friend. And I thought, okay, I have some issues with that now, doing what I do for a living, but that's what they told me, marry your best friend. But then here's the thing. The guy leaned forward, that gentleman leaned forward, and he says to me, Orna, I picked her out of the bunch. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, you know, back in the day when you had telephone operators to connect the calls, that was a room full of women. Well, I was the tech guy that fixed the equipment when things went wrong. And when I saw all those ladies in there, I had my eye on her from the moment she came in. He picked her and not the other way around. So their answer was, marry your best friend. Well, that's a little too boring for me. I think you need that chemistry. You want to have that humana, yummy, yummy, yummy. I know people are going to say it wears off when you have kids and later and blah, blah, blah. But why? You can't skip the chemistry. Because when I saw these two people, they still had it after 60 whatever years it was that they'd been married, to have like 3 great grandchildren, right? He picked her. I'm going to leave you with that. That's a relationship ready guy, a relationship ready gal. I thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you to my team. I love that you said thanks to love to Matthew. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. He goes in tomorrow morning for a colonoscopy. Woohoo! I'm sure he's going to be fine, but I'll let him know all your well wishes. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for your time tonight. And we'll be back in 2 weeks, y'all. Have a great night. Bye for now. I'm going to have to figure out what I have to do to end this. Okay, I have like 7 things to click. Bye for now. Okay, and then I go to eCam and I do finish.